If you've lost your green card, do not freak out. It is replaceable, but it will cost some money. Today, I will explain how to replace your green card both in the US and abroad, how much it costs, and how long it will take. Be sure to stay until the end of the video where I talk about how the process has been affected by the pandemic and what to do if your replacement card is pending and you need to travel. So let's dive right in, and for more updates like this, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video. The first step to replacing your green card is filing Form I-90, which is the application to replace a permanent resident card. This is the same form you use if you need to replace your green card because it's about to expire, it's damaged, or you've changed your name legally. Along with Form I-90, send over a copy of your green card if you have one from before you lost it, or if you don't have one, then send a copy of a government-issued ID such as the biographic page of your passport or a driver's license. Form I-90 is a pretty straightforward form that you can find on the USCIS website. If you just type in Form I-90 into Google, it is the first link that pops up in Google search results. I will also link to the form in the description below. The USCIS also publishes instructions on how to fill out Form I-90, and I highly recommend following these instructions as they're pretty detailed, and I will link to them in the description below. I do, however, have a few tips about the form. The form will ask for your alien registration number, which is also known as your A number. Now, usually you find this number on your green card, and since you don't have it, there are other places where you can find this number. If you've kept any of your past paperwork, this A number is usually on any communication that the USCIS sent you once you applied for your green card. If you came from outside the US on an immigrant visa, the A number is usually also listed on your visa stamp, but it's usually called a registration number. The rest of the form is pretty straightforward. Remember, the USCIS will not mail a green card to a foreign address. It must be a US address. Once you've completed Form I-90 and have a copy of a government-issued ID, you will mail this along with the filing fee and biometrics fee to the USCIS. Now, Form I-90's filing fee currently is $455 and the biometrics fee is $85. You can pay this by a personal check or money order, which must be made out to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Be sure to write it exactly like that and do not abbreviate. And also make sure that your check or money order is drawn on a U.S.-based bank. A few weeks after you file Form I-90, you will receive a receipt notice in the mail from the USCIS. Officially, this letter is called the I-797C Notice of Action. You can use the receipt number on this notice to check the status of your case online. Pre-pandemic, you used to get your biometrics notice roughly 4 to 6 weeks after you filed Form I-90. This notice has the time, date, and location of your fingerprinting appointment. On the day of your appointment, you'll need a government-issued ID such as a passport or license to get into the building, along with your appointment notice. Now, this video is being filmed during the pandemic, and while USCIS offices are open and taking appointments with social distancing, things can always change depending on local conditions. So if you do have to wait a little longer for your biometrics appointment, don't be alarmed, as that could happen. After your biometrics appointment, you just sit back and wait. Your green card will arrive in the mail, and as I mentioned before, it will only arrive to a US address. Make sure you do not list a foreign address for the green card. The USCIS website says that it's currently taking 4.5 to 12 months to process Form I-90, and given that we are in the middle of a pandemic, my guess is that it's taking closer to the higher end of this range. For a better estimate, you can always reach out to an immigration attorney and ask them what they've been seeing recently with their clients. They might be able to give you a shorter range than what the USCIS website says. If you lose your green card while you're abroad, you do not file Form I-90. Instead, you file Form I-131A, which is an application for a travel document, and you'll do this at the nearest US embassy or consulate. You first pay the fee online, which is $575 currently, and then you apply for your travel authorization in person at the US consulate or embassy. Without a green card, you cannot enter the United States. The US consulate or embassy will either place a boarding foil inside your passport, which is like a visa, or they will issue a letter that authorizes travel for you to get back to the US. Now, given the global pandemic, US consulates abroad have limited in-person appointments, so I would recommend going to the local website of the consulate to see how you can schedule an in-person appointment. For example, I went to the website of US consulates in Germany, and under the visa section, I did find instructions on what to do if you lose your green card. One of their consulates asks people to email them to schedule their appointments, whereas another one asks people to fill out an appointment request form online. So those are the two options you're likely to see, but again, this will vary from country to country depending on the severity of the pandemic and how the consulates are currently functioning. Once you do find the website page for lost green cards, they will also tell you which documents to bring to the consulate. The easiest way to find this page is to go into Google and type in something like US Consulate Germany lost green card. Some variation of this will likely get you to the page that you are looking for. One other thing, some countries require a police report if your green card was stolen and even lost sometime. So when you do reach out to the consulate to schedule an appointment, be sure to ask them if they require a police report, so that way you can go ahead and get it before your appointment at the consulate. Lastly, if you are in the US and need to travel but your replacement green card has not yet arrived, you need an I-551 stamp in your passport, which a USCIS officer can do for you. To do this, you'll need an appointment at a field office, and you can call the USCIS contact center to schedule that. Simply tell them that you need an I-551 stamp so that you can travel. Make sure to take your notice of action with you. This is the I-797C, which I mentioned earlier in the video. Again, due to the pandemic, you may not get an appointment as quickly as usual, so before booking any travel, I would call the USCIS contact center and find out when you can actually go see a USCIS officer to get that stamp before booking any travel. In fact, even outside the pandemic, I would first call them and figure out when you can get into a USCIS officer before you book any travel. If you have any other questions about replacing your green card, let me know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, hit the like button below and be sure to share this with anyone that might find it helpful. I'll see you in the next video.